Hello everyone and welcome to a relatively short video. I'm probably not going to do much editing to this, and I do have some promises, well, not promises, but some talk about some stuff in the future. I recently played Project Playtime with a couple friends. We recorded a couple videos. It will be coming out on the channel. But I wanted to give my opinions as someone from the ASIM genre, having played a lot of DBD, my thoughts on the balance of the game. And to start out, I figured I'd talk with the simplest of things, the mechanics before quickly moving into the characters, and maybe doing a cover on perks, so I might do that in its own separate video. So when it comes to it, the mechanics work differently for most, in the sense of when a monster's right up on top of you, you don't get speed burst when they hit you. You don't get a chance to get away. You just kind of have to deal with it and keep running them. Which is interesting. So there's no getting away basically once you've been gotten very easily. No speed burst that makes you just bolt, much like for Dead by Daylight, as well as other ASIM games really. At the same time, there's also less of an indicator, especially with some, how much HP you have, how much HP they take away per hit. It's not always the most successfully indicative game, which can lead to it being confused into how much it takes, as different killers will actually take different amounts to kill you. Boxy Boo, I believe, actually takes like 6 hits to down you, while Huggy takes only like 3. So there's weaknesses here that are apparent. And the tools that which survivors can have are kind of disgusting. These doors that you can slam down to stop the killer, they will go back up after a short period of time and can be immediately brought back down, no cooldown whatsoever. And especially with where they put certain doors connecting to other like doors or whatnot, there are some absolutely disgusting loops, as I would refer to them, that are nearly uncountable as a killer. And if you run someone there, you're just gonna have to run away if they know how to run it properly. Especially depending on the perks they have, you may spend so much of your time trying to catch someone and never do, and they're just going to rush the objectives. The objectives themselves, I think, are interesting and unique. I like them actually. I think it's kind of a cool little thing and whatnot. And I like how it pulls to some degree from the games or whatnot, you know? But now let's get into the killer's powers, and we're gonna get into Huggy, our first of the 3 characters, and he has 2 moves that he has. It's the lowest amount of a moveset of any character. One is an information, one is a lethality / mobility, mainly lethality. And that's how I'm going to refer to most things. You're going to have mobility, which is only for movement, lethality, which is going to help you end chases quicker. You're going to have information, which is stuff that gives information, and for the most part, I don't think any other character has any moves that don't fall under these. So he has a mobility lethality combo and an information. So his one ability here, the smaller Huggies, where he places a monitor, basically. Think of like a monitor. He is going to look in the general area and will notify you whenever there's a player there. Up to a 5 maximum on the field at any point in time. What you can easily do is camp out objectives with these. I mean, it even says here, which is kind of, it's a thing, but I'm not really going off these. I'm going off my own thoughts here. Again, it's something used to camp out objectives or like well-tread paths. You're gonna want to utilize them in. I don't think they have a despawn time. It doesn't say here that they despawn. It really doesn't. So yeah, it's not terribly effective. The other thing you have is the charge hug here, which, as you see, you run on all 4s, giving an immense speed boost for about 2 seconds. Can be used as an offensive move by running into an opponent, which results in an instant jump scare despite health. This is what we call in the business a one-shot. And I'm sure that's what everyone would refer to it anyways. It's a one-shot move. And it is incredibly strong lethality. With no real aim to it, you can't like easily be curving it, you kind of go straight line. So you need to be sure you're going to land it, but it is always going to be worth it, especially since I'd say probably one of the strong perks a survivor could bring is some extra health. As one of the many things that I think is one of the stronger perks a survivor could bring, this would help completely counterplay that. As well as just some other things. This counterplays and ends something quick. You just end it, boom. Now, what I will say is that it's not good for mobility. It's got a 30-second cooldown and gives you a short speed boost for 2 seconds. It's not much distance-wise. Don't use it for distance. Use it for its lethality. It's really not good mobility. Maybe mobility in like a loop if you need to really catch someone. Other than that, but it is very, very weak in my opinion. As for where I'd place him, I'd say he's on the weaker side of our characters, but not the weakest by any means. He's got a one shot, and he's not bad. And we only have 3, so I'd say he's a solid, like, average. We're putting him at B. Boxy Boo is our weakest, I'd say, here when it comes to characters, but they're not weak in any way. I'm going to say that right now. They have a couple of moves. So first they have coils. You can jab faster, jump higher, and fall slower. This is just a passive, which basically means that you have easier mobility. And this character is mobility, which still makes them incredibly strong in my opinion, even for their weaknesses. I do have a reason for why I believe they are weaker though than other characters. So you have your movement ability, which you hide in your box and hold for as long as you want, up to a maximum. You can keep holding up to that, but you won't gain any more. You will leap and launch, depending on how long you held it. And your launch is it's as strong or as weak as you choose, fully dependent on how long you charged it. And as it says here, there's no cooldown. You can just spam this as much as you fucking want, which is ridiculous. So his mobility is insane. You have the lethality ability, which you stretch your arm out and pull them back to you. Then it says 0 seconds, and I don't know if that's true. It feels like it has a cooldown, but maybe it really doesn't, and I just haven't been paying too much attention to it. But again, it brings players right to you, and you have a very fast attack and whatnot. So this is really good for pulling survivors in straight areas or whatnot. It will help you kill them faster. Now you're gonna notice here that that's it. He just has those 2 abilities, you know. And what is his weakness? No information. Our other 2 characters have information built into their base kit, ways of finding a survivor, while Boxy Boo here has incredible mobility. Their lethality is on the weaker end, in my opinion, and nothing compared to what our other 2 is, as well as no information. It puts him in the weakest spot, in my opinion, at base. Still not bad, though, and very strong. And last but not least, we have Mommy Longlegs. Now, Mommy Longlegs is, in my opinion, our A-tier character. They are by far the strongest, and their kit is kind of fucking insane, in my opinion. Let's get into it, right? So we have the mobility. You stretch out your arm to grab onto a ledge, pull up, and you can hang on to it to jump, and jump off. You can hang on there for as long as you want, from what I can tell. This is incredibly good mobility. Again, it's a bit slower than Boxy Boo's, but it is controllable, and it has, to my knowledge, infinite range. Or at least a very long range, if so. So you can cover massive ground in this with basically a grappling hook and almost Spider-Man from area to area. It is very good mobility. You have the spotter lens, which quite literally just highlights survivors for 3 seconds. That's it. That's simple. It just gives you wall hacks for a couple of seconds. You won't want to use this on a chase for the most part, but you're going to want to use this to locate survivors. It's very effective, and it's very good for just quick info to be able to find survivors quickly. And it even says here that hiding in a portal lounge that cannot be seen, so much like in Dead by Daylight, lockers hide your aura. You are not going to be found by this. So, again, very good tracking. Actually, probably the best tracking in the game, in my opinion, because you can just get guaranteed information out of it. And then your lethality is you shoot spider web in front of you, which prevents players from sprinting or jumping. It slows survivors down, like, effectively. Very effective in slowing them down, and you catch up unless they have a rather strong loop that they're already going to be utilizing. So it's very good in what it can do, but it's not going to always work out the best depending on where you are. You need to use it smart. But if you land it right, it's going to help guarantee that kill much quicker. Again, each killer has something that inputs to their lethality, but her information is by far the best with really great mobility. The only thing really holding back Huggy Wuggy is his lack of mobility, which he makes up for having a one-shot that pierces through any amount of health or whatnot, but still, it's notably weaker with no mobility to try and pressure an entire map. Mobility is key, and that is why Boxy Boo is still very viable, even for the weaker lethality and information game. Their mobility helps them keep strong. Mommy Longlegs, however, has good lethality in my opinion, as well as good mobility and good info, putting her just above all. So that's my quick summary on what I think for the killers here. I don't know if there's like do we have like perks here that I can really go over, because it would actually make it like really easy to be able to do that. Perks and sabotage. Okay, so we got perks and we got sabotages, which are very strong stuff. So first and foremost, upgraded perks, especially always, can be really useful. So you have Power Walker, which increases your movement speed as a whole. Now, I'm not fully sure if this increases your movement speed while running or just walking, but still, I would suggest this, especially since Mommy Longlegs is one of the stronger killers, at least in our current state, in my opinion. The fact that her slowdown is something that forces you to walk, this will give you faster walk speed. I think this also probably make it a bit easier for you to avoid the killer, as I don't know how exactly the footstep system work, but just being faster on your feet is always going to be good. Shadow Walker, being movement speed or crouched, I don't think is really going to be that effective. I think as people can learn with this game, again, hiding is not going to be the main strategy. I actually see this in a lot of similarities with Dead by Daylight. People are going to start treating it like a hide and seek game at first, be sneaky or whatnot, and sneaky plays can be made at the right time. But for the most part, don't be afraid to be aggressive, and I feel like you'll probably be able to start doing better. Learn how to loop the loops, learn how to counterplay the killers or whatnot, and really deal with them and chase. You can be a lot more annoying than just one survivor hiding, you know? I'm going to say that there is Genius, Master Pianist, and Think Fast. All three are to help you out for any puzzles you struggle with, and they are very good if you are bad with them. If you're good with them, however, you don't even need to worry about these. So we got Punching Bag, which can increase your health by up to 45%. Certain characters can take upwards of 6 hits to kill you. This will up that by quite a few. I mean, if we're talking 6 hits to kill at 100%, we're probably talking some about an extra 3 hits now to down you for that one. Maybe about 4, maybe if you're really lucky, 5 hits to down you with someone who normally would down you in like the 3 or whatnot. Like, this is probably going to be something that will help you survive more. As well as Leadership will help you heal people passively. Healing's not a thing that you can do normally in the game for some reason. Leadership lets you heal. It's the only thing that lets you do this. And then Leave No Trace makes your footsteps disappear quicker. Also very good. It's a very... Leadership is one that is team-oriented, while there's very few that really are team oriented in my opinion. I think it is really cool that there is that one. You also have different distant savior, which takes time to rescue a player. Shortened helps you get a quick rescue off if you really need. It reminds me currently there was a current bug in the game. If you res someone before their feet touches the ground and start bringing them up, they don't actually lose a life. That needs to get fixed. I'd say most of these are good. Master Pianist, Genius, and Think Fast are really going to only be really useful for you if you're struggling with stuff. If not, what I'd suggest is probably stuff like Power Walker, Leave No Trace, stuff that can be really good for running looping or whatnot, as well as Punching Bag, personally. Leadership or Distant Savior are other good throw-ins. I don't think Shadow Walker is going to be too worth it. It says here you can have up to 3, so I mean, those 3 just said, those are going to be ones you're going to want to go for, I'd suggest. They're never an active thing, which is in the exact opposite to how sabotagers work. So as it even says here that you can use any sabotagers, whatnot. I believe that each sabotage you can only have one as it's an active effect, basically. So you've shut down, which shuts down pillar pillars, puzzle pillars, not pillar puzzles. But still, same thing. It must be reactivated. This is going to be like a game slowdown if you think about it in a sense, right? Like this is going to let you slow the progress down by stopping them from being able to do this. Especially in managing stuff, I see this as huge. Making it so they have to do a side objective before doing their objective. That's strong. Feeding Frenzy is really good for if you are in a spot to snowball. I think this can be especially good with certain very lethal killers, like Huggy Wuggy, especially if you haven't used your sprint yet, you see another person. You activate Feeding Frenzy, you are just going to be able to keep going from person to person, applying a very quick, precise pressure on the survivors, and this can immediately cause a snowball situation because you don't have to waste time hooking them. Well, not hooking them, but throwing them into the pit. So, yeah. This I could see as being really impactful, honestly. So no pack makes it so that grab packs cannot fire, and either they need to be fixed by another person or they have to wait out the time. This one probably lasts a lot longer than certain ones, and that's why repairing would be a good thing for the most part. You have no escape. It makes that crash doors can't be shut, swinging handles may not be grabbed, and portal launchers open and cannot be entered. No escape acts as a complete anti-loop. Much like the no pack, both of these are anti-loop. Probably very good on already lethal killers, but even better in my opinion on less lethal killers that are going to be more weak to these looping strategies, such as the doors or whatnot, to help you guarantee a kill, but also very good on a very lethal killer to guarantee a quick immediate down by stopping a survivor's options. Living Nightmare will just deteriorate the player's field of vision, and I have not seen what that's like, but I don't know how horrible that's really going to be. Maybe it'll be bad in Chase, I really don't know. Total Lockdown makes it so that all crash doors shut and may not be opened until it expires. So you can kind of shut someone in with you, possibly, but this can also backfire against you. You have to be smart, in my opinion, to use this correctly. Otherwise, you may actually just fuck yourself over. Directionless will interface times randomly and can send them in wrong directions. That's kind of funny. I didn't even know. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know there was a map that I was supposed to be paying attention to when playing the game. I maybe need to be paying attention to that. And Booby Trap, multiple players become booby trapped, harming survivors that try to use them and alerting the monster. Again, very useful in harming the objective that they have to do. I think overall there's some really good ones in my opinion. Shutdown acting as a game slowdown. This is going to buy you time. And in this game, time is going to help you quite a lot. Also forcing them off of their objective. Feeding Frenzy is going to be good for snowballing and really putting a shit ton of pressure on them in one moment. While, like I said, no pack and no escape are very good anti-chase, stopping them from being able to do much. Total Lockdown is good anti-chase. You just got to use it right. And keep in mind that it's not going to do you too much in any spot where there's just not any doors either. Directionless is probably going to mess with survivors a bit, but good survivors probably won't be bothered by it. Same thing in my thought, at least, and how Living Nightmare may affect them. Good players probably won't be affected by it quite as much. And then Booby Trap is again a kind of nice forced interaction, get some damage in for free or whatnot, especially for some of the weaker killers. I could see that being really impactful. So if you're a killer that struggles in lethality, that might be a really good one for you. For example, Boxy Boot, I could see it being pretty good. So yeah, I think overall, interesting perk setups, interesting killers or whatnot. A game has my interest, but I don't see it being something I'm going to specifically be maining or whatnot. Like I said, we got some content coming up on the channel for it soon. Thank you guys so much for joining me. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.